with 6 goals, unconventional lineup from Flick to the beginning of that game. But good time to get this win, Dom, in this fashion, given the start that we have had and given the games coming up in the Champions League. How do you feel?
I feel amazing. I mean, this is quite a way to announce our comeback, Dev, after a month being away and not covering the first couple of games. And we're back, and so is Flick with his 6 goals wins, which is always nice and feels good. And it's funny because earlier this morning we actually recorded a podcast. We said, okay, the days of the 6 goals wins are over. They're not really coming back just yet. And then Flick does this, and the players do this, and this was actually a very, very comfortable and dominant win with a team that did not really inspire confidence on paper. At least that's kind of the surprising fact for me.
Yeah, I think the problems that we saw in the last 3 games, one was obviously, up playing from the back was not working out. The press was not there. I think we fixed both of them today, and we played through the middle. And I think that's one good thing I like about Barca. I think compared to all the other teams that I watch, their ability to play through the middle, and it looks nice and it feels good, and they can do it at will, even when opponents know that that's the way they're going to come at them. Obviously, Valencia were probably the best in 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 how they set up. But how did you feel about the first? I don't know whether it was a game of 2 halves. I thought both halves we played pretty well, but obviously the
Mhm.
goals we scored a lot more in the end. So where do you want to start?
Where do I want to start? I think both halves were good. Okay, let's see. Let's see. What do we need to dissect? I think the big elephant in the room is no Lamine. So what happened with no Lamine? So how do we handle that? Because we had it's quite a mixed lineup, I wouldn't say. And I didn't really predict Rooney starting, but that was more of a decision because Rafinha was
I think
late
it
and something
was, yeah,
happened.
late.
Yeah. So he was meant to start, and we saw that Rafinha when he does play, obviously, and that's what we mentioned as well the podcast. Without Lamine, Rafinha needs to be there. He needs to be the guy to actually say, "Okay, guys, I got this. I will do the things that I need to be doing," and that's exactly what he did tonight. He did it on the right side of the pitch. So why did that work all of a sudden when before when we used to watch Rafinha on the right, it never worked? The difference between back then and now was Rafinha was playing on the right similarly to how he plays on the left. Right before we had Rafinha on the right being the creator, being the dribbler, being the guy who hugs the touchline. But now we see a similar kind of role for Rafinha only on the right side, and it works because it gets him closer to the goal, it gets him to cut onto his left foot, and he gets him into scoring positions, and that's what Rafinha does. Right? He's not hugging the touchline kind of dribbler winger, and he's never meant to be that. And now we see that he can be effective on both sides, but you just have to play him. So I think this is the big thing where we have no Lamine, but okay, we have Rafinha who's different, but he can be effective even if he's playing on the right side. And to me, that was one of the big things of tonight. And I think we can go from there, Dev. What were your thoughts on the whole front line actually? Because the front line was it was weird.
It was weird, and I don't know why this is. I think obviously Lever was fit for this game. I don't think he was still injured, but it was a tactical decision by Flick not to play him from the beginning. Maybe there is something to the point that Barca truly want to move on from level, that this would be his last season, and then they're looking at Ferran as his actual replacement. But I mean, even on the virtue of what we saw today, it's going to be
Mhm,
hard. Like he just got like about 30 minutes, and it just like literally scored two really good goals out of nowhere.
mhm,
So I think I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. Like, do you really use Lewandowski sparingly throughout the season, or do you use him consistently? And that's a question. But beyond that, I think overall the forward line, I think that's a question that we need to have. I thought Marcus Rashford was good today.
oh
He
yeah. I
didn't get
think.
goals or whatever, but he
Mhm,
played his role to perfection. So so that was good. The other good thing was Fermin looked much better. as long as
Mhm.
Rafinha wasn't on the pitch. I mean, his involvement on the game was much better. So there are so many questions to think of it that way. Olmo again came in, but wasn't probably that effective. I mean, even though he played for a very small amount of time, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, once Lamine is there, who is the starting lineup? I would still say it's Leva, Lamine, and
Oh
Rafinha.
yeah. The strongest lineup is definitely, yeah, that those three guys definitely. And to answer your question about Lewandowski, I think when he's fit and when he can actually play, he will play and he should play. Because I mean, Ferran, he has his uses, but tonight was both a demonstration of what he can give you and what he will also, on the other side of the coin, he will also frustrate you to no ends because he will be in those situations. He will somehow be in the right place at the right time. He will somehow find a way to get into the chance to score, but whether he scores or not is anyone's guess, actually. So it's always going to be like that. So to think of Ferran Torres as Lewandowski's direct replacement, no, I'm still not on that train. I still don't think that Ferran is actually of that quality to be a long term Barca nine. To be Lewandowski's kind of understudy or whatever you want to call it, yes, sure. But tonight, as I said, Lewandowski needed what, half an hour, not even that, to score two goals that only he can score, no one else. We keep saying that, and that's his biggest trait at the moment. He might be old, he might be getting on, but he still does things that no one else can do in the squad, and that makes him valuable or invaluable even. So I would say that Barca will, for the biggest games, if Levy's fit, he's playing. I don't
I
think
think
there's any
that may be
concern.
another thing that like Flick uses him in a sparing manner because he obviously can't. I don't think he can do 90 minutes for 60 games a season anymore.
Oh
So I
yeah.
think Flick saves him and uses him in a traditional sniper kind of a
Mm.
utilization. I mean that's something that we're going to see. But lots to learn from a Ferran perspective. What do you feel about Ferran in that first half?
I think he was frustrating. Some of the things just didn't go his way. Obviously, he'd had that assist, which was amazing. That was a great touch from him. And to your previous point of Barca going through the middle, I think Ferran can be valuable there. The way that he drops and then darts back into space, something that he does well. He can link up. He's not like the most technical guy in small spaces, but he can do that reasonably well, and he can play back to goal as well. He's not the strongest guy, the biggest guy, but he can still do it, and I think it's serviceable when you have these players around him, like Rashford, who was making those runs to the half spaces whenever Ferran was dropping deeper. I think that can work, and when you can relay the ball in that direction, it really works. It doesn't have to be Rashford; it can be Fermin, as we saw for the goal. But Rashford was in those positions to actually play off of Ferran Torres. And I think that's a combination that we should be exploring a bit more. It doesn't have to be Ferry, it can be Lewandowski as well, if he can actually manage to create such a link up or actually do such a link up. But Rashford's positioning as well is interesting because he has to be similar to Rafinha. He has to be closer to the goal. If you have him out wide, having the touchline dribbling, you're not using him well, but he's closer to the goal, running at the goal at the opponent through those half spaces. Minimum width, the same as Rafinha. You can get the best out of him, and I think Ferran Torres is a good profile to unlock those players around him as well. So I think that is one of the things Ferran can bring to this Barca side without being a 30 plus goals a season player. So that will be kind of my lay down of on Ferran at the moment. Not a long term Lewandowski replacement, but definitely has his uses in this system specifically when it's minimum width and the quick link ups. I can see a use for him without him having to score goals because you can't rely on him to be a goal scorer like Lewandowski. You just can't.
Okay, good point from Vanley and Vanley. Welcome back and welcome back to everybody. We see most of the common names. Sorry, we were out for a while, but Dom here had more important things in life to take care of. So obviously that got done, and Dom's a married man and all of that stuff. But it's good to be back, guys, and probably we'll be doing this after each game going forward. So thanks for joining us. Good point by Ben Lido on the Rooney Badji thing. I felt the same thing that he wasn't very comfortable on the on the hugging the sidelines, and he also prefers cutting in and playing through the center. But there's only that many players who can do that, and like with what we've seen today, and we'll talk about Furman, and because he was the topic of intense debate earlier in the season of whether he'll stay
Yeah.
or go, and two amazing goals today. But um, how do you then incorporate somebody like Rooney inside the team in the way the team likes playing?
Ah, to be very very blunt with you, the once Lamin's back, I don't think Rooney's gonna get like.
That
I
many
mean,
chances.
not just not just because he's not really a Lamin sub. I don't see him being at the level where he can actually get. I don't know how to package this so that doesn't sound
Nobody be
too
like
harsh.
he's never going to be his replacement. He'll probably be a 80th minute sub in most
Yeah,
games maximum,
yeah.
right?
I just
And maybe Copa del Rey, early season
yeah,
games and things like that. That's
potentially,
basically it,
potentially.
right?
But
But even with that, where do you feel, and do you feel that something needs to be tweaked from that sense?
I think the right side works better than the left side when when if let's say the Rooney goes inside and he cuts inside and he's more comfortable there. We don't know. We'll see if he can handle the touchline or not. But at the moment, let's say he's not comfortable out wide and he can't do that. To me, the right side still looked more connected or more not more lively, but more connected and more kind of there were more connections to be made on the right and on the left. So you see on the left side, Rashford and Gerard Martin, there was nothing there for me. I didn't even see them exchange passes as much or anything like that. Because Rashford was kind of a half space presence. Jerry Martin was kind of a third center back, and then you had the whole flank just deserted without Balde. Whereas on the right side, even if we say, okay, Rooney, you can come in, and Kunde is not the best overlapper, but Kunde can handle that. Kunde can be a wide presence who kind of crosses the ball inside. He does his in swing crosses that we know he can do. I think that can still work. So you can actually have Rooney invert without losing too much. Obviously, he's not the quality of Lamine. He will never be the quality of Lamine. But I didn't think that right side was dead, even if Rooney was abandoning it, or even if he had to abandon it. I saw connections there. I saw activity there, as opposed to the left side. So it's not all bad. I just think the quality of the player is not at the level required. So I
There you
think
go.
the setup kind of it's not the worst, but the player quality and the combination of there is just wasn't there for me at least.
There you go. All right. Obviously, there are. Let's pick on Furman. This
Mhm.
was a player that was, I think, 40 million. That's what they were talking about. And while there was nothing specific about him going, but there was intense debate till the last date on, he might leave for Chelsea,
Yeah.
and that
Mhm.
would have been nice because I think he fits this team and he fits this game. But could it be now that we're not going to have Gavi for a while, and I think De Jong probably will be back in a couple of games or what have you, but could it be that Edri Casado Fermin is a midfield trio that gets to see more airtime based on how the team played today? Yes, obviously Valencia didn't press that well, they weren't as good, and will play much better opponents out there. But
Mhm.
what would your like Casado last season also, like when he got his chance, he was putting these performances in, and Barca were playing well or what have you. And we have all often debated about the best two midfielders in being
Mhm.
Pedri and De Jong, and De Jong's ability to you know get the ball going and make those runs and what have you. What's your take?
I think more than anything, this was Furman's game to kind of make a claim, and yes, the 40 million quotes were just insane because nowadays for 40 million, what do you get? Like, I mean,
Nothing.
everyone costs. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And now you're telling me that a guy like this, a player, a midfielder that's so unique, in not just in Barca and world football, is going to go for 40 million. That's just insane. But yes, I think tonight was a real testament to what Furman can do when he's in the mood. When he's so if he could be a bit more consistent with these kind of performances, there would be no question about the third midfielder in the squad. This was his game to make that claim, and he's done it brilliantly. Now, on the Casado thing, I still don't think he starts ahead of De Jong, and in my books, he still wouldn't. I still wouldn't have it ahead of De Jong. I would have, if anything, this was to me, this was Furman's game to say, okay, Olmo, you have to do better, because Casado did not, to me at least, did not do anything that De Jong cannot do or do better than Casado tonight. So in my book, it's Pedri, De Jong, and then Furman now pushing Olmo out because we don't have Gavi obviously, but now we saw a bit of Bernal tonight, but that's just it's just a taste, and it's not something that we should we shouldn't really count on Bernal being a steady presence just yet. But no Gavi, and then it's between Fermin and Olmo, and Olmo's been falling off. I mean, not
Terrifying.
just yeah, I know, not just not being available, which is what we kind of expected, but when he is available, he's just not in the mood or something. I don't know what it is. And Furman is just slowly but surely kind of moving past him and getting ahead of him in the specking order, and I think it's well deserved. At this point, I'm willing to say, okay, Furman, you're actually working harder and you're showing better results, and you should be there ahead of the Olmo. That's the reality of situation at the moment. So I would say at the moment, Pedri and without De Jong obviously would be Casado. Yeah, but when De Jong comes back, Pedri, De Jong, and Furman would be my picks.
Would that be
Um,
your pick for Newcastle?
Depends on De Jong's fitness. Like, is he coming back like match sharp? Probably not. So I don't know. It's a bit risky. But if they were all
I think,
fit,
I think against
yeah,
Newcastle, I'll go with Casado. Given it's an away game, given I think that's just and to your point, like unless until De Jong is fully fit, when he
yeah,
is and he gets that match fitness probably, but it's going to be interesting. Obviously, Castro will be used a lot given Gavi's situation because I don't think Gavi's coming anytime soon.
yeah, probably not.
Given what we are hearing, so I think I mean he's going to play, which is a good thing because he generally like he does his job and he gives in good performances. So I think
Mm.
that's something we'll get to look into it. Just want to talk about the defense today. I think we played from the back a lot better in
Mhm.
terms of managing. I mean, not that Valencia were all over us in that final third,
Uh,
but still
yeah.
they did press, and but Barca played from the back, could build momentum. The midfield was not completely bypassed, and so on and so forth. What's different, except that Araujo didn't play?
Well, I can see people are mentioning Valencia's press, and yes, that is a part of it. I think Valencia's midfield in particular was non-existent. I don't think they had any presence in the game at all. The way they pressed, yes, and Joan Garcia helped a lot as well. So you had a back line that was so comfortable on the ball, including Joan Garcia and the two center backs, obviously. And you have Kunde as the right back, who is obviously he has a technical foundation to do that as well. And Gerard Martin forming the back three also helps just with the superiority in the first line and the ease. You just ease the load of that back line and makes it a bit easier against a pressing two, just numbers wise, if anything else. Um, and I thought Eric Garcia in particular, I was even tweeting about him earlier. He really impressed me both on and off the ball because heading into the game, I also had a couple of tweets saying, okay, this is how you're meant to be playing if you have Eric and Kobashi together. And people were like, okay, that's a recipe for disaster. But it's not if you control the moments well, right? And Barca and any team in the world, let's get this clear immediately. Any team in the world, no matter how good they are in possession, they will concede chances here and there. Something will happen. The opponent will get one or two moments in a game. Even if you play a perfect game, you will probably concede at least one or two chances, right? That's just how football usually works. And but the real measure of how well we do is how you control those moments. Now, Eric Garcia and Pau Kubarsi might not be the best players on paper to control those moments. However, tonight Eric was really good with his timing. He was good with his exits outside, so to press his markers. He was really good in his interventions and tackles, and he was actually quite good in the box as well. There was one blunder that he made. When was it? In the second half, I think. But it doesn't matter. It didn't really result in anything. So I think that he deserves a lot of plaudits for tonight. I don't think he gets much plaudits when he plays the center back, but tonight he was really good. And when you have such a stable on the ball squad in the back, things are obviously going to be much easier. And then we had Casado, who was also kind of quite deep at times, even between the center backs at times, which helped. And I think the whole squad was really built for that on the ball proficiency and defending on the ball because Flick knew, okay, I don't really have actual defenders on the pitch. You don't have Araujo profiles on the pitch, so you have to be impeccable and secure on the ball, which we were tonight. And I think that's
But
why.
isn't that what we're
Yeah,
going to see? I mean, even though like all common sense would say that it should be Araujo and Christensen probably with Kunde and Jared Martin. But something tells me that we're going to see more of Eric Garcia and Kubarsi than of Araujo and Christensen, aren't we?
yeah, it's not the first time though. Remember, because we kept saying, okay, Flick clearly has a preference, and Flick would clearly rather go for a riskier approach with Eric and Akubarsi and I don't know Christensen, and emphasize this on the ball dominance than be quote unquote more secure defensively with an Araujo profile. He would
You think
I
that?
think yeah, he would take that trade any day of the week. Like he would take the on the ball proficiency and attacking prowess from the center backs ahead of defense security because now even if you have worse defenders, you have a bigger difference maker between the sticks as well. You have Joan Garcia, who's the fail safe, right? And you have that extra security in goal. So I think you can actually afford to be a bit more front footed, let's put it that way, a bit more adventurous on the ball or in possession, and emphasize this attacking nature of our team a bit more than defensive nature. But but tonight, I didn't feel the high line was as extreme
It
potentially
wasn't.
as it. Yeah.
Flick played black. I think it was about 30 meter, 35 meter. I
Mm,
don't think it was
yeah.
a 46 meter line.
So he did
He
tweak it.
defended deep today
Yeah.
for whatever
hmm
reason.
hmm
But for sure, it wasn't that advanced island.
So there you go. So he had that in mind. So you do play more of an attacking style of play with those center backs, but at the same time he recognized, okay, I don't want to expose them too much. And if when you play deeper, you kind of do invite a bit more onto yourself. So more attacks onto yourself. However, that's where João Garcia comes into play again because now you have a more stable presence in goal and kind of you can take that trade, right? You can take that trade sometimes, not always, but sometimes you can take that trade and João Garcia will bail you out many times, not all the time,
Not all the time.
but many times he will be there to make a save, and he has that hero gene that I like to call about. It's something that he can win you the game, but the less you need him, the
The
better
better.
you are. Yeah,
I
that's what
thought
I'm trying
today
to
it was
tell
better.
people.
Like he played just
Yeah,
as much as a Barca goalkeeper should play. That's it. Like,
exactly,
this is
exactly.
exactly how a Barca goalkeeper should be.
It's nice to
Um,
have him there, but we don't want to put him in I don't know 10 game breaking situations per game. It's just not
he shouldn't
feasible.
be playing the way he was playing against Rayo because when he's
Yeah,
playing like that, we are not playing that well. So,
exactly,
uh,
exactly.
so I buy a point on that completely. Let's talk about Lewa.
Yep,
What a
we can.
cameo! 30%, 30 minutes, two scores. Um, he still has probably 20 goals a season, doesn't he?
He does. I think in this team, Lewandowski can score goals for fun. When we click like this, he really can, because when we play like this, and when we actually put these assists on a several player, so to speak, for him, he doesn't have to show his age. That's kind of the whole thing. Leva has these instincts. He has these unique goals in him. He has these movements and little touches of the ball, little feints of the body that don't really go away with age. And as long as we can put those things in the spotlight, he will be able to score goals. The moment we ask of him to do things that require for him to be in his peak physical condition and whatnot, to be 10 years younger, that's when we're gonna see problems. But as long as you play on these strings, and as long as you actually Give him as little responsibility as possible. By that I mean just score a buttload of goals. That's it. That's your only job. It's not an easy job, but it's something that he's very comfortable doing. And I think with his physical preparation, with his mentality, and with his unique goal scoring profile, he can definitely do this
Do
season.
that.
Yeah, this season definitely. Now after that, that's a different story because I think he himself is probably thinking, okay, this will be my last dance, so to speak. So we'll see what happens. But that brings up a whole new spectrum of questions because then Barca would have to go out there and secure someone who can be a
I
longer
don't know who that
term.
is, though.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
see a single player in the market who can come
Mm.
and be that. I mean, it's one thing to go and buy somebody, but you got to buy someone who's worth it. And I don't think there is anybody who is worth even Leva at 37. I just don't think there is anybody out there. So that'll be a question for
Yeah.
Deco to solve next season. Question on in Valencia against Newcastle, given that they have
Mhm.
ultimate and the new players and really large, tall center forwards. Do you feel
Mm.
that Flick might opt for Christensen and Araujo, given the way the Premier League plays?
Mm. I think tonight was also a good kind of not really a predictor, but it did show us how we might play against Newcastle as well. Because the way that we carved Valencia open when they showed us that impulse to go forward, and this is not the first time Valencia have done this. Because remember last season they they just opened up completely. They tried to attack us constantly, and we scored like a 16 goals or something in a couple of games against them. I think we can do some. Well, we won't score 5 or 6 against Newcastle. I don't think that will happen. But those teams will come at us, and I think that will be our opening as well. Because when teams are open against us, I mean, we have so much quality, even without Lamine Yamal. We have so much quality that we can carve anyone open. So I think that will be our chance. Now, to fight physicality with physicality has never been our thing, right? Because we don't have the players, we don't really have the style, we don't maybe not even have the mentality to go into a physical battle against Premier League teams and win that through physicality alone. So I would say no, don't change something that's not broken. And obviously Flick has his preferences, and if he over adjusts. So if he adjusts too much against a dangerous opponent, I think it might just backfire. So if I was Flick, I wouldn't tinker too much with this. I would stick with my guns, and I would wait for those openings because Newcastle will come at us and they will be open. Not completely open like Valencia, because let's put this out there. Valencia are very like this is a side that's struggling. This is a side that's lost their best defender as well. So it shouldn't surprise us. But but I think we'll get our chances against Newcastle because precisely because of the way that they work and function as a team. Because they are also a team that they will want to attack. They will want to have the chances going forward and be open. And against Barca, against Flex Barca, that's always dangerous. But yeah, let's look at some data and see what the stats tell us. You're muted. Muted.
I am on mute. You're right. Let's look at some sofa score data. You're right. Okay, ball possession 72-28, but often in the last three games, Barca have had possession, but they looked anemic. But this time around, they made it count. So that was good. The XG is obviously we overperformed our XG massively, 3.35 to 0.18. The fact that Valencia barely created anything, and to your point, like the midfield was hardly visible. I think there was no coherence in the game or what they wanted to play. So that's obviously a question. Big chances 5, goal scored 6. Obviously, that shows that we made most of the chances that we got, even did more than the chances that were there.
Mm,
Goalkeeper saves, as you can see, 1 compared to and I think against Rayo that was like a 10 or something. So this is how we want Barca goalkeepers to be,
yep.
and that's a good thing. Lots of passes, lots of tackles, and what have you. Then let's look into the through balls, the touches. So you can see the touches in the opposition box, about 39, shows the amount of dominance that we won. And this is where I think duels we were losing. I think in the last game against Rio, we weren't doing that well in duels, but
Hmm.
looks like we won our fair share this tonight in terms of the both the ground and aerial duels or what have you. So that obviously helped. Even defending, even with the makeshift defense that we have, and not again, Valencia weren't the best in attack, but I mean the tackles won. Just goes in to show that Flick had a game plan. Obviously, he wasn't happy with what he had seen before the break. They worked on it, and while we did miss critical personnel, I mean, the philosophy of the game was that I think it looked like that. Like for the first time this season, it looked like the Barca of old season. Like they're a compact game plan, and they came to play and win it. What do you make of it?
I mean, those stats are they're a bit insane. I was looking at the stats. I don't know, it was like 20 minutes before the end of the game, and I was like, it was like 17 shots to one or something. And I was, okay, this is a bit insane. You watch the game and you see that we're dominating. You see that we're actually creating so many chances. You can see that Valencia are nowhere to be seen the whole game. And then you look at the stats, and then it hits you. Oh, okay, this is very serious. Again, to your point, and we've talked about this, Valencia are just not really not really the parameter, right? They're not really someone that we should be. I don't want to say take seriously because obviously no disrespect to them, but yes, they are not in a very good spot. They're not good measurement for our rivals. So we'll see what happens when there's Newcastle on the other side, when the Real Madrid is on the other side, and so on and so forth. But it was a good game to come back to them. I wasn't expecting this, and it's good that we kicked this off, kicked our live stream season with a 6-0 win. I'll absolutely take that. And the stats just confirm the whole story of the game. It was just one sided, and I'm glad it was because we needed this. We needed this win. And it was also a good chance for some of the players to say, okay, we're here and we're actually ready to contribute throughout the season. And some of the players really did, some of the players less so. So Flick will take bits and pieces from this game, and I'm sure that he will take it into consideration because I think Flick does give like there is a meritocracy. Is that how is there is like people will get what they've earned
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. He
from
he
Flick.
believes in that. He believes in
Yeah,
that.
he believes in that, and I believe too that that's the right way to work in a club like this. So he will look at this match and he will see who's earned their spot, right? Who's earned their chance to play and maybe start games of even bigger size than this one. So I think it's a good thing overall.
Yeah, I mean, and again, as we were talking about it, look at the passes in the final third. About phenomenal, 200 passes almost, of which 163 came to. And this is the strength of the Flick team. This is the way Flick plays, or Flicky Flacco, whatever you want to call it. But
Hmm.
our strength is through the middle, and today we
Yes.
saw that. And as long as like we can find the way to play that way, most opponents will find it difficult to win against us. But
Hmm.
it's only when they can block those channels and we can't find a way to connect, and either Pedri is neutralized or Fermin's not having the best game or what have you, and then Barca face challenges in creating those chances and creating that dominance. But as long as they can play that game, and the defense can perform what it needs to perform on the ball to make it happen, I think we'll always have a better chance. And hopefully this continues, this trend continues, in the next coming games, and we'll get to see
Hmm.
that. But that just goes to show that where the strength of the team is. This wasn't some cross passing, exhibition. One would think that okay, Lamin's not there, so how do you create chances? But well, the team stuck to its principles. They played through the middle, and they created that ascendancy that has been missing for the last two games, or the last three games that we have seen in the season.
Yeah, and this insistence on playing through the middle, it just comes down to again what we talked about this the whole last season, and that's the player optimization part or player profile maximization, whatever you want to call it. It's just the Flick sees where our biggest strengths are, and he insists upon them. Right? He will find a way to play to his players' strengths, and that is the whole shtick. His whole shtick is that profile optimization because he sees the player that he has, and he's like, okay, this is the best way to get the most out of this particular player, and he does that with every single player. And he creates this ecosystem because that's what a team is. A team is basically an ecosystem, an organism, a living, breathing organism that you have to cater to. You have to make sure that every single piece of it is connected and has the optimal environment to thrive. So I think this is what Barca need to be doing anyway. The playing through the middle is Barca's whole thing. Even when you have players like Lamine Yamal, it suits them. They are wide players who, Lamine spends a lot of time in the middle as well. But when you crowd the middle, it opens up the wide spaces. So it also plays into our hand as well, because you can make more space with the players that we have on the outside. But the most important thing, as you said, lots of passes to the middle, insistence on the middle channels, and that's how we hurt you. And that's what we saw tonight as
Absolutely. So again, this is like good to see the team playing this way today, and hopefully, we get because we got so used to that domination last season. It was great fun, like winning every
well. Mhm.
game by 5 goals and what have you.
Oh yeah.
This time, I think uh, yes, I still do think that it won't be that smooth sailing this season. But if we can play like today, with clear ideas and clear commitment from all the team players, because I felt the team played as a unit. Everybody pressed together, everybody fell back together, whatever. I mean, it's just so.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting to see how they build on this, right? And
Hmm.
obviously after this, the Newcastle game, there is Hetafe coming up, so there's interesting games coming up. So it'll be fun to watch how they play. But today was a good rehearsal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of start of the season and so on. So some questions here that have come through. Let's look into that. All right. I'll get Vlahovic from Juventus to free to replace Lewandowski. Yes, that name has been discussed quite a few times, but I don't know. I've never been that convinced by him, but what do I know? Tom, what do you feel?
Um, hmm. I think there is quality in that player, but honestly, I I have not watched them at all, like for the longest time, to be honest with you, because whatever is happening out there is, I don't know, it's just a weird situation for him. Juventus have been a weird team to follow as well. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you because I've not seen enough. I can't tell you. But at the moment, I don't think any of those players currently playing there are in their best environment, and I think that's kind of impacting the way that we perceive them as well, which is the case for many other players at the same time. But I don't know. I don't have many comments, unfortunately. But at the moment, just nah.
All right. Leon says Flicks needs to work on that Jaron Martin plus Marcus Rashford combo. They're not creating space for each other. Rashford is constantly dropping deep. Martin isn't making overlapping runs. Yes, true. In today's game, we watched that, but I think it was also the first time. I think Flick has noticed it, and I think he's going to work on it. But I don't think Martin's ever going to be ball there and going to be making that many number of overlapping runs. That said, though, the defense did look solid with him around, and we all know that Flake likes Martin for his dependency and consistency. So I think he's going to stay. Rashford probably might need to drop deep, but I think he played very well today. How did you feel
Hmm.
about Rashford? Yes, he did score goals, and we want him to score a goal, and everybody's waiting for him to score the goal. But I think he was pretty much on the ball. Quite good performance. I think today was the best performance that I've seen from him this season.
I mean, Rashford will just keep doing things, and every attack he was running at the goal. He was trying on the left side. He was trying to have spaces, and when you get him close to the goal and give him those balls to run onto, he will do damage. Rashford is that type of player who can do something out of nothing as well. He can flip the game. He can score a goal out of nowhere, and he will keep trying. Like he will keep trying tonight. He couldn't score, but he kept trying, and I think he kept making things happen. And to me, that's a very good sign. Right? It's a sign that he wants to be in the action. He wants to be in there. He wants to participate. He wants to contribute somehow. He wants to bring value, and he did bring value. That assist was insane. I'm not sure if he meant that pass. to end up that way. There was a bit of luck in it as well, but that pass was insane in the end for Rafinha's goal. So I'm very happy with his performance as well. Dev, I would agree. He's quietly been, getting there. He's not there yet, but he's been getting there, and that's a good sign because he's not a
Yeah, two
starter,
great
but
passes. Sorry,
mm,
so go ahead.
no, no, no. I'm just gonna say that he's not a starter yet. He might not be the starter ahead of Rafinha or even I don't know anyone else, but he is definitely showing some value. And at the moment, that's what all we can ask.
100%. I think two great passes today. I think that one was the Rashford pass, as you rightly pointed out, and I think the second one was the Mark Bernal pass
Oh yeah,
to get for Lever to get his second one. Beautiful through balls on both occasions, and I think Bernal will be happy with that. Of course, he only got about 10 minutes, but good confidence boosting pass out there. Um, so yeah, that's about it, guys. I think that was the game. We keep scoring against Valencia. I think last season it was 7, and again this
yeah.
season is 6. And so obviously it feels good to get the numbers on the board, given how shaky the start has been. Obviously, Newcastle coming up. We will fancy our chances after a performance like this. I'm guessing, Tom. What are you calling for that game?
Right before all the injuries, as I had said that I want almost all the wins in the group stage. Like I will only tolerate one dropped game out of how many do we have? We have 7 games. Is it seven?
8, I think.
Eight games. Sorry, eight is 8. Okay, yeah. Then 7 out of 8 wins. That's what I initially had said. However, this team is crippled at the moment, so I don't know if we can expect to win um, this week against Newcastle. But I think this team can. Yes,
Are you
I
going for
think this
the
team.
draw or a sneaky win or a loss?
Mm, I'm not going for a loss. I'm never going to say a loss because I firmly believe this team can beat anyone. Um, Oh my god. Should I go? I'll go for a win. Because I know that you'll say draw probably, but
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm gonna
no,
say
no, we can
win.
win. I mean, if we played this way today, I was very, very happy.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it's Valencia, but the team
yeah.
played very fluently, and if they play like this, they can win. They can
Mm,
absolutely
yeah.
win.
I know. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm gonna go for a win. I'm gonna say the lineup doesn't change much. Because Lamin's not gonna be ready, and he shouldn't be forced to play. Because if we force Lamin to play now
That
with the
is a good thing. You know
same
what? We are
as
so dependent on him. We should keep him out for a
I know.
while and win a
Yeah.
few games and get that whole thing back. And I totally,
Mm.
yeah.
Mhm, mhm. I think this was the first game that we won without Lamine in the lineup, though, because last year we lost all the
We lost all
games.
games that he wasn't
Yeah,
there.
yeah, 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 yeah. So that's is improvement. It's improvement, guys. But anyway, yeah, I think the lineup will stay largely the same. I'm not sure what could change. I mean, Rooney won't start. That's what I meant. Rooney won't start. Is Rashford will probably start because we don't have Lamine, but then Rashford, Lewandowski will start as well. So yeah, those two changes. The front line will change. So Rooney and Ferran out, and then Lewandowski and Rafinha in probably I would say,
Yeah.
uh,
All right.
and then the
Okay. So
rest.
that's it, guys. We'll obviously be back after the Newcastle game to cover it, and we'll also talk about the game today and just watch out. We'll be publishing something on that. But good to be back. Sorry for the long hiatus that was there, but sometimes life happens and
Yeah,
things.
that's sorry. Yeah, that's completely on me, guys. I was away for a month in Croatia. Now that mostly everyone is here, I can say again. I did get married. Here's the proof. I have the proof right here. There it is. I did get married. It was wonderful, and we'll talk about more of life stuff on a different occasion. We don't want to take too much time to talk about those things on the post match reviews. But yes, guys, I was away for a month. I couldn't record. I couldn't write anything because it was a stressful time, but also a wonderful time. Like I said, I'll talk about it on a different occasion. But yeah, thank you to Dev as well for being patient with me because I was away for a long time, and when that happens, all of our content suffers. There's no two ways about it. It suffers. We lose momentum. We lose clicks, views, whatever you want to call it, the reach that we have. So thank you all for joining us again. There's so many of you. Honestly, I did not expect that many people to be here after our big break. But thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it, and we'll make sure to make it up for you guys. Sorry,
Yep.
Death. Yeah, you were saying.
No, that's what it is. So I think we're back, and we'll continue doing it, and we'll see you on the next one. And thank you for joining on this one, Viscal Barca. Take care, guys.